Castagna and Markov. Stolen by Bose. He hacks it. Sam Day's got to fly high. Front and centre. Taken by Ainsworth. Can Ben King kick the sealer directly in front? He's batted through. Ben King's got 4.
Chris to your right. Chris, Tom, clear the area. Clear the area. Clear the area.
It's a signature win for the Gold Coast Suns. Their very existence has been questioned by their critics, and they've responded.
Hello and welcome back to the All Things Footy YouTube channel, where today we are reviewing another poor season from the second latest expansion club in the Gold Coast Suns. 11th season and still yet to make finals, Liam.
We always come back at the end of every year and just say where to for Gold Coast, and we're running out of seasons to do so. As you said, it's their 11th year in the league. I think the highest finished is only about 12th or something. So there's something going wrong up there, but we still to find out. They've had about 10 coaches in that time, and none of them have been able to do anything. So a few people predicted that they might break away from the bottom 4 and finish in the 10th to 14th region. But again, we're here and we're sitting that they finished 16th with 7 wins and 15 losses to their name. That's just another poor season. Nothing much else to add. Just I feel sorry for you Gold Coast fans if there is any, but your club's not another spot of bother as they find themselves every off season. Out of their 7 wins, which one did you think was the best that they had?
There was 2 that I was torn between. I think you went with the other one. Round 6 versus Sydney, up at Metricon. They're not that bad at home, in my opinion. Obviously they're still inconsistent, but when they're on, they're not that bad and they can challenge teams. And they ended up beating what turned out to be 6th placed Sydney by 40 points at home in round 6, and sort of raised a bit of questions about Sydney's legitimacy. However, obviously nothing more really eventuated from the Suns, but that was a pretty impressive performance from me.
For sure. As you said, I went with the other one. I think the best one in my opinion was Richmond in round 16 when they came down here at Marvel and they defeated Richmond by 10 points. And I think that was when everyone said that Richmond would struggle to make finals. So I think Gold Coast, you can say, well done Gold Coast, you well and truly ruined Richmond's finals hopes. I went on the road. Not easy for a team like Gold Coast. So come down here and do it was pretty impressive in my eyes. Now, out of their 15 losses, which one was the worst for you?
It's got to go to round 20. They took on the Melbourne Demons at Metricon Stadium. A bit of a Metricon, no, it wasn't. It was at Marvel. That's right. It was a bit of a stuff up with the fixture within the last 24 hours of the game. And they run away and lost by 98 points and didn't really turn up, to be honest. It was just terrible performance all around. For
sure. I went with the same as you. There's nothing worse you can get than a 98-point shellacking. Although it was to the D's, that it just wasn't. Gold Coast didn't show up on the day. It had to be their worst loss of the year. Now, their best and fairest. Who's coming in second or third? Because I kind of know who's going to run out first. But
everyone knows who is coming in first. For my third position, I went with Lukosius, who, again, not really the person you would expect to be in the best and fairest range, but he did average just over the 20 disposals a game. He was fairly solid for them, I would say. It was
Yeah.
either a toss-up between him or Brandon Ellis, who was also very solid for them. But I went with Lukosius because he played all 22 games. In second was, would you call it a breakout season? I don't know.
In his eyes, you'd probably think so. I believe so. He had a good year, this bloke.
And that is Ben King. So the 47 goals from the 22 matches, averaging just over 2 a game. Fairly solid for the 21-year-old. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Just whether that future involves Gold Coast is not our decision. That's his decision. But yeah, I don't know what else I can really say. And obviously, number one and winning the Gold Coast Best and Fairest, I have no clue what their medal is called. We'll go to Big Tuk Miller. Was just the heart and soul with the Gold Coast Footy Club this year. They're almost 32 touches a game. I don't even know the rest of his stats, to be honest, but he was just in and around the ball all the time. He was elite.
I went the same 3 as you, but I had King at number 3, Lukosius at number 2, and the Gold Coast Suns club champion will be Tuk Miller for 2021. No brainer there. He kind of just put them under his wing and carry them every week. Now, the most surprising player for you, who exceeded expectations or who
most
dropped below?
Surprising, it's got to be Tuk Miller.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say came out of nowhere, because he was in and about towards the closing period of last year. But I'm still going to say Tuk Miller. I think he just took an absolute jump this year. I'll compare his stats. If I go back to 2020, he only averaged the 20 disposals a game.
Yeah, so it's a big jump.
Yes, it was short at quarters, but that's not enough to jump your 10 disposals. Compared to the almost 32. So he's probably easily the most improved for the Gold Coast Suns. Probably the most surprising in my eyes as well.
I had to go the same with you. We kind of saw glimpses of him coming up to say at the start of the year that he was going to break the record for most amount of games with 30 plus touches. I think he had 16
in a row.
There was I never would have called that. So big improvement for Big Tuk. Promising for Gold Coast is accuracy, a player doing well. But so here's the age-old question we ask every off-season. What do Gold Coast need to do next year?
What don't they need? Is Stuart Dew gone?
I think they'll give him one more chance. Although like every coach, he hasn't done the best, but I feel like we have seen some little improvements, but I think they'll give him one more year and then be able to finish anywhere between the 10 and 14. You think he'd be gone again?
Was it his fault? Is it his fault?
It's honestly impossible to tell for any team, because we've seen it with the likes of Carlton, and we've seen the likes of Gold Coast. They've changed coaches about 3 times in the last 4 years, and both those clubs have still gone nowhere. Carlton still haven't reached their goal of making finals, and Gold Coast are still bottom 4. So it's kind of hard to tell, is it the players or is it the coach at this rate? So it's hard one to answer.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Given we can't answer that, where do you think they will finish in the year of 2022?
If they're playing like they did this year, I'm going to say they're going to get the spoon again. They just haven't shown anything again. They can't rely on Tuk Miller every week getting 30 disposals and being king, kicking you 3. They need to improve everyone, and hopefully somewhat get Matt Rowell back into somewhat bit of form after he came back from his knee. He did jack all, so I need to try and get him back into the disposals. And yes, where do you think they're going to finish?
I'm not going that. I'm going the other end. I'm going to say they're going to jump, what's that, 2 spots up to 14th. Definitely a potential. However, there is a few clubs probably behind them a little bit on the 8 ball, such as the next team we will review. But I see them finishing 14th. I think they're a little bit better than a couple other clubs. On their day at home, I can see them beating some very competitive teams. So if they get their act together and perform with a little bit of consistency and sort of win probably 3 games in a row next year at some point, I can definitely see them getting out of the bottom 4.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the final question. If they were a test, what would you smack on the cover of it?
I would give them a stamp of a D+. Better than Collingwood, in my opinion, in terms of maybe not least, definitely not least, but better in terms of the way they went about it on and off field. As we discussed yesterday, Collingwood had a very shambles worth of a season. Much better than Collingwood. So got to go above them ever so slightly with a D+.
Yeah. I went the same. I went a D+. I was very close to upping them into the C minuses, but again, I still couldn't see them making that tiny jump just yet. I reckon next year they'll probably find themselves into the C's, but I'll give them a D+ too. It's another standard year, another pretty piss poor year as they do every year. So no real improvements for the Suns again.
Very cool. All right, I think that wraps it up. Unless you got anything else to add about the Gold Coast Suns and what could be called a probable failed expansion team with talks of relocation and all, which will not proceed, but major talks surrounding them.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you will come back on Monday for the next team review, which will be the Adelaide Crows, followed by an upload almost every day next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Catch you then.
See ya.